Hey squad, Jakus here, and you know what I love? Mediocrity. Oh, ask a Fortnite fan what their least favourite season is. Go on, ask them. There's a decent chance they'll tell you vibing or wilds, but I think there's one word that will come into the conversation more than any other: Primal. Primal was the 6th season of Chapter 2, launching in 2021 and running for about 3 months, and most people hated it. But me? No, I like being different, so I'm gonna make my case for why Fortnite Primal is actually overhated. The main thing people talk about when they criticize Primal is the loot pool, the underpowered makeshift weapons, and the overpowered Primal weapons. I do think that some of the makeshift weapons were pretty underwhelming, particularly the rifle. It was pretty bad. However, the SMG, for example, was a slightly better tactical SMG, and people loved the TAC SMG. Overall, a pretty mixed bag, and I will concede that their high availability definitely damaged the season. Now, on the other hand, the Primal shotgun was certainly a pretty big issue on launch, but Epic did make multiple attempts to reduce its power, and this is also far from the only time we've had this issue with the loot pool. Look at Chapter 3 Season 2, for example. The drum shotgun was the exact same, and yet people praised that season for some reason. It also wasn't particularly hard to get mechanical weapons. You could just find bunker chests across the map which guaranteed high tier classic loot. Now, the loot pool definitely had some filler items like the Spire jump boots, cuttlefish, and the recycler, but it got better over the season. Although this season was the first to vault the original pistol, so that's pretty notable. There was also, of course, crafting. Now, this was quite the controversial system, and honestly it did take some time to adjust to for me. It definitely got improved when it became more of a side grade in Season 7 and 8, but I think the hate was still overblown. It was a neat mechanic that added a layer of depth to the game for a single season, but I do think that perhaps a Battle Royale game does not necessarily benefit from this level of complexity in its mechanics and weapon finding. But again, that's why I liked the bunker chests. They were located in populated areas like Pleasant Park, but also across the map in random spots, and they meant that you didn't need to craft to get good loot. Regular chests could also just drop regular weapons, albeit at a lower drop rate. This season introduced wildlife, another pretty controversial change. Honestly, I always liked the chickens and frogs. I thought they were cute, charming, and being able to carry the chicken Zelda style was a cool reference. They just livened up the world a lot. Now, don't get me wrong, the wolves and the boar could get pretty annoying at times, but they were also a pretty reliable source of heals. Don't get me started on raptors though, they can stay gone for good. The map changes in Primal are also pretty universally hated, but I'm about to say something controversial. I loved the Primal biome. Just hear me out. The autumnal forests are really pretty and add a much needed splash of colour to the Chapter 2 map. The Guardian Towers were pretty awesome Zelda Breath of the Wild references and great looting spots. The Primal Village assets consisted of some really cool tiles, and all of these POIs, especially Colossal Crops, were fantastic for harvesting wood, although admittedly pretty weak for brick and especially metal in parts. I know that Bony Burbs is a super controversial POI, and I'm not going to pretend that I loved it, but it was definitely a guilty pleasure drop spot for me. It was a really interesting take on Tilted Towers that almost felt like an anti-Neo Tilted in a way, and it was always really highly populated. I'm gonna say it, Primal's Battle Pass was one of the best we've ever had. Agent Jones with all of his styles is easily one of the best tier 1 skins we've ever had, and I love that we got every style from his collab kidnapping ventures in Season 5, plus a bonus. Tomb Raider's Lara Croft is a fantastic collab skin, and the PS1 style is especially cool. Tirana is not one of my favourite skins admittedly, but she fits the season really well. Raz is a great legendary outfit, and his runic cube style was great foreshadowing for the last Reality's invasion in Season 7. Cluck is a pretty funny meme skin, works well for Easter and for the introduction of chickens, but always made me hungry for KFC. Rebirth Raven? Sure. Okay, I don't really care for DC collab skins, but her set had some really cool items, like the Portal Backbling and Glider. And Spire Assassin was a pretty solid tier 100. Not the best tier 100, but the last original tier 100 for a couple of years, so that's gotta be worth something, right? And the rest of the pass was jam-packed full of some great music packs, lobby screens, contrails, and more. I absolutely loved it from day one of the season, and I still think it's a fantastic pass to this day. Now, the secret skin? It was Neymar Jr., probably the worst secret skin we've ever had. Truly a terrible choice that I will not even try to defend, as I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now. In my opinion, an IO guard, the Foundation, or even Jones himself would have been a far better pick. We did get a soccer ball toy out of it though. They don't really do toys much anymore, so that's pretty cool. But still, overall, a really good battle pass. This season had some pretty great updates in my opinion. 16.10 was relatively small and brought the addition of everyone's favourite animal, the raptor. A hotfix the next week also added the recycler, as well as the new What's New in Fortnite video format on the official socials. A great bit of communication that sadly only lasted a couple of seasons. Then there was the Spring Breakout event, a pretty nifty Easter event with the introduction of bouncy eggs and the return of the egg launcher. 16.20 brought the fan favourite chonker tires to make cars go off-road. A hotfix the next week brought the exotic grappler bow, which does pretty much what you'd expect. I thought it was pretty cool. 16.30 unlocked the Neymar Jr. skin and brought the new exotic unstable bow, a really cool bow that changed what its function was every time it was fired. This update also saw the Raz boss take over the Spire. I remember using a harpoon gun and a zipline to cheese killing him because his health draining attack made him super hard to kill. The 16.30 hotfix a week later unfolded the tactical shotgun and the infantry rifle, both very good additions to the loot pool in my opinion. 16.40 saw Aurelia take over a new island on the south coast, with players paying tribute to her or stealing the gold scar to unlock an extra star for Lara Croft. This also brought the new exotic Marksman 6 shooter, which was, well, it was a gun. Impossible Escape was a fantastic LTM that was super fun, had really cool free rewards, and I loved playing. I wish it came back because I seriously think it's one of the best and most unique limited time modes they've ever done. 16.50 unvaulted the dual pistols. The dual pistols automatically make any season certified awesome. Sorry, I don't make the rules. I haven't even mentioned the Wild Weeks yet. Wild Weeks were a brand new feature in Primal that saw limited time gameplay changes that kept the loot pool fresh and interesting every single week. Fighting Fire with Fire Week had a variety of fiery unvaults and made fire more dangerous. Fish Fiesta brought back some rare fish and buffed fishing spots. Bouncing Off the Walls Week made zooming around the map easier than ever, and Bargain Bin Week halved all vendor sales, making it easier than ever to get exotic. Wild Weeks were just such a cool concept, and they kept coming back every season, right through the end of Chapter 3, that's how cool they were. Now, to be fair, there was also some pretty strange content ideas this season, like Red vs Blue Weekend, and that time they put Wake Rider in the shop instead of Star Wars stuff on May 4th, but in my opinion, the content flow was absolutely fantastic this season, with new additions pretty much every single week. The story was also really exciting during Primal. The season starts off with the insane Zero Crisis finale event, which to date is still my favourite live event. Following an incredible cinematic with Jones racing through the battlefield, we meet the Foundation for the first time, and team up with him and Jones to fix the 0 point by closing pure portals and creating a Spire of Stone. The reality waves were a really cool and immersive way of introducing new season content like the Primal Biome and the chickens in real game time. Not to mention the music score. Phil Boucher did an amazing job on this one, and it's not at all surprising that we got not one but 2 lobby tracks out of it. Then throughout the season we follow a mysterious storyline of following the Crystal Song, investigating the Spire, and Raz being manipulated by crystal shards and inevitably attracting the last reality. The build up to season 7 with the crushed IO helicopter, Dr. Sloan's menacing tapes, Mari's Hot Sauces show, and the crop circles will forever be one of the most exciting season build-ups for me. That whole 2021 era of Fortnite just had a fantastic storyline, and Primal fits snugly right into that. So that's Fortnite Primal. Was it a perfect season? Of course not. It had some clear flaws, but I do think the hate for it is a bit overblown. People act like the season personally flew out and eliminated their family in front of them, when in reality the meta was just kinda not great for the first few weeks. I would argue that the spray metas of Chapter 3 Seasons 1 through 3 were significantly worse, and I'd have the Primal Shotgun back any day over the Striker Burst Rifle or Combat SMG. I honestly had more fun playing Primal than I did Vibin, Paradise, Mega, and Last Resort, amongst others. Don't shoot me, that's just my opinion. Okay, maybe that was a little far.